Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay, so one of the most important programs in Solana, on the Solana chain, is the token program, and it's documented here. It's a command utility that lets you do all kinds of stuff. It lets you create tokens, check a supply, create accounts, and check balances, mint, and this handles, I believe, fungible and non-fungible tokens. So this is one of the attractiveness of Solana, because this is on the chain and people can use it. Signature authority. The main difference, okay, so this handles multi-signatures as well. And you can have multiple signers. So behind this, of course, and all these commands that are available is in fact the code. Now, the code consists of course, there's the JavaScript, but the main things are the CLI and then the program, and there are two different, and I am not honestly sure the complete difference between Program 2022 and Program. They were both recently updated. So let's look at Program. The main thing to look for in Program, of course, is the processor. There's also the instructions, and this is basically goes through the different instructions that are available, and there's a great deal of documentation here on how these things work. So this is the implementation of the token instruction class, and you packing and unpacking and so on, and see if it, okay, so that's part of it, and that will come into play with the CLI. And then you have the processor, which is the actual back-end implementation of the different instructions. So initializing accounts, initializing multi-sig, and some of these are public, the public thing, and they generally call it private. So here's the public process initialize account, and it calls, let's see, it calls a private process initialize account. So they have here like the private process initialize multi-sig, and then you see the public pub process initialize multi-sig. So this is all the back end. This is the back end transfer when you're transferring tokens. So this is the where all the back end work takes place. And go up and look at the CLI. The CLI is what you end up calling, and this handles gives you a bunch of help if you let's see, where was they talking about commands and subcommands, and see. Let me just show you. So here's the main routine. So it takes the arguments, and based on what you do, it will look for here. You can have help. Here's your, but down past here, I think is where they get down to business. Because remember, if you don't have a correct command, generally these programs will tell you, and then let's see. And here's our match. This is the main match where it looks at your command and it determines what it needs to do. Sometimes, like in this case, it's just calling the command. But there are some, like, let's see if I can find an example. Well, it calls, let's say here, command transfer. So let's look for command transfer. Okay, so that's a method. And it goes through and does checks and things you'd expect. And then way down at the bottom, it pushes the information into an instruction array, which is then sent and so can execute the back end. So that's essentially how this thing works. You can see it's quite involved, and for transfers, there are a fair amount of checks. You have to check if the accounts are still valid, if they have enough coin to transfer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I think this is pretty well documented between this page, which is actually tells you how to use it. And if you go, again, there's, let's see, is it in, there is quite a bit of detail in the instruction page here before they even get to describe, showing the implementation of the of instruction. So this is a pretty involved thing, but if you look at it, really helps you understand how the whole token system in Solana works. Again, that's being used by a number of companies, a number of organizations to use their own tokens to run their chains, to do the transactions like storing items, art, like rendering art, sending it down, various other things. So again, hopefully this has been helpful. And again, you can go in and dive into this actual program. I think if you're interested in Solana, this is and you're in the coding realm, this is a good program to dive into in terms of understanding the nuts and bolts of Solana. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful, and thank you for watching. And I will speak to you next time. Take care.